I'm good. We're in the thick of everything No Madness Fest, so it's a bit intense right now, but we're good.
What what do those days leading up the last 2 3 days? What does that typically look like for you? Are you taking some time to yourself to just get away from things? Are you last minute details? Like what are those last 2 days before the festival look like for you?
Um, I don't have the ability to take time for myself that close to the festival. If I'm gonna
Yeah,
make that type of time, that's got to
yeah,
happen within the last like 2 weeks. Once we're there, once we land in Louisville or whatever city that we're doing the festival in, it's a wrap.
sure.
It's a marathon all the way through the event. So I fly out to Louisville tomorrow morning. So
Okay,
we're there. Our team is on site a week before the event starts almost. So
okay,
there's a
okay.
lot of things that are going on by the time by the time we're 2 days out from the festival, we've already
Yeah,
started the ancillary events that we're doing. Like we have events that start on Thursday and then we go until
gotcha,
Sunday.
gotcha. Okay, okay. No, we're looking forward to it. I appreciate you all allowing us to come and cover it. Um, we're very excited about it, and again, just looking over some of the speakers, some we've met in other spaces. You all have a dynamic lineup of speakers, and so I'm curious
Thank
as to
you.
what was that outreach like. What typically you find that uh, you have to jump over so many bridges to get very well spoken, very well respected people in their spaces and in their industry. What has that outreach been like? Do you find that speakers are now excited to just be a part of No Madness? Like it's a yes immediately?
Yeah, so I think that one of the markers of success is access, right? I think a lot of
Mm,
people
okay.
put money as one of the top markers of success, and it's one of them. But for me, I've been building community with a focus more so on access. And so a lot of people forget No Madness turned 12 years old last week. And so we're celebrating over a decade of being in this space in the travel industry. And that means that we have 12 years worth of relationships. I have 12 years worth of being a keynote speaker and being approached in my own right, given my positionality in Black and Brown travel. And so, a lot of these relationships, I would say that I probably have easier and quicker access directly to all of these folks. I have probably worked with them in some type of capacity already. And because of the candor and the relationship and the reputation that No Madness has overall now being 12 years into the game and how we show up for this demographic, I think it may be a little bit easier for us to get them and to get the yes from them than other people. The other thing is we don't ask our speakers to come and do stuff for free whenever we cannot, right? So I think it's important, me being on the other side of it, like you have a lot of business owners who may not have speaking as a big part of their life. So they kind of think that they can come into a space and ask a content creator or whatever to do something for nothing. Because I'm an artist who also became a speaker and entrepreneur, I know when I feel the best showing up for certain engagements by how I'm treated on the front end. And so I
Yeah.
think myself and imparting that on my team, and in particular, 𝗧𝗲𝗃𝗃 Patel on my team, who runs like she is the one who's running after talent and speakers and organizing that. And I just think that there's a level also of communication, of camaraderie that we have, of relationship, of respect that we offer over to the people that we engage with for these, that helps us kind of move the ball a lot faster than other people. That's a really long way for me to say, pay attention to your relationships along the way.
Well,
Cultivate
no,
relationships along the way.
I appreciate you emphasizing that. That I think that pretty much answers really the first question that I had, and we talked about this the last time that you and I spoke, the longevity of No Madness, and now you're going into the fourth year of No Madness Fest, and so it sounds like to this question, what would you contribute to the longevity of your company? It's just the relationship you built. It sounds like. Yeah. Hello.
Oop, I think I lost you. Are you there?
Yeah, I got you back.
I didn't hear anything after. Okay, I got you. I didn't hear what you said after what would you contribute, after the word contribute, it went out.
Yeah. Just like we talked about last time, I've admired the longevity of your company, and it sounds like you contribute relationships to the longevity of your company. And would that be accurate for you?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. That's a great reminder, I think, for
Yeah,
the entrepreneurs.
absolutely.
You're good. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I think that that's a very big, it's a huge marker. It's one that you can't supersede. And I think when you bridge that with, workmanship or workwomanship and what that looks like, and showing up and just executing at a certain level over and over again, people are able to not only trust the relationship, but also trust the experience that they're walking into, to know that it's going to be something dope, really fun for them, but it's also going to be educational. It's going to be beneficial for them because we put together so many events that also become a benefit for the speakers that come along. It's not just Saturday, like there's
Yeah,
events
yeah.
that start on Thursday that are geared towards them, that will help, get them in front of potential partners, get them in front of potential
Gotcha.
clients, to be able
Gotcha.
to
Love
take
that.
their brand and their mission to the next step. And I think that's what becomes beneficial for them to say yes to a Nomadness Fest, is because it's not just what you see on stage. By the time we get to the festival, the weekend's
Yeah.
done. Like, by the time we get to the festival is like literally the last big thing that we're doing. After the festival,
Yeah.
it's like we're done. They've been around the city and been doing so many other things together by that time, that it's like, whoo,
I love
okay,
it.
got it.
I
Like, we're
love it. Yeah.
good.
Yo, so and business seems to be like a core topic. For the festival this year, you have travel is my business session. You have the travel hacks, three-way travel hacks session with my boy Ronnie Dustin, who I just love, and he's so down to earth with the information that he
Ronnie's
shares, and he's so
awesome.
open with it. Yeah, man. And so I asked Ronnie this. I've asked Jeff Jenkins this, and I've asked other folks who've been in this space for a long time. Everyone wants to know how to succeed in the travel industry, especially now with so much emphasis in growth opportunity for Black businesses, Black creators in this space. So everyone is always asking, what should I do? I'm curious to know, from your experience, what is one thing you would actually tell someone to avoid doing who wants to start and be successful in the travel industry?
I would say maybe avoid being like everybody else, right? I think people get nervous about the idea of being a niche or being too specific, or thinking that they're isolating and they need to be for everybody in order to be successful. And that's not the truth, right? You have to figure out what your margins can look like across the board, including like the community and the consumer that you're trying to attract. But I think a big mistake is coming out thinking you have to be everything for everybody. I would actually double down on whatever your unique point of view is, whatever your unique demographic is. And it's okay to start small. People think, and social media is one of the biggest culprits of this. If you're not trying to be a unicorn, if you're not trying to be massive, if you're not trying to have a business forever, why start, right? And that's
Mhm.
daunting. And that's also just not the truth. And so I think finding that, I'll give you an example. What I was doing right before we got on this interview is, for this year's festival, we have a partnership again. We love Intrepid Travel. So we have a
Yeah,
partnership with them. But what's new this year is we're giving away a $5,000 grant. We did an online
I
pitch
saw that. Saw
competition
that.
for BIPOC content creators, right? So we have, I mean, dozens upon dozens of applications. And I had started looking at the first couple videos, got caught up in the mix of, planning everything that is coming up the next weekend. And I finally had the chance to sit down and go back, because I look at every single one of those applications. Like, I'm not one of those people that's like the face of it and I don't do shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I want to see what this means to people. I want to see how they correlate this theme of conscious travel with our brand and with what they're doing. Like, this is important to me. I also remember being that creative 10 years ago, where if something like this was
Yeah.
available, I'm gonna do my damnedest, and I would want somebody to sit down and watch my video too, So it's just a respect thing. And so I finished going through every single video right before we hopped on. And one of the things that I would say that kind of like leads back to my answer is, a lot of people say the same things and they don't realize it, right? And so it's the ones that stuck out to me that had a little bit of a unique twist, something that may be extremely specific that they might have been even a little bit nervous about putting in their video. But it ended up being that thing that caught my attention that made them stand out from all the other applicants. And so again, it's like, even I utilize that on the other side now, you know, as like the business owner in a position to give other people a chance, you know? So yeah, that all literally, that's very fresh in my mind because of that, the videos.
Yeah. Could you, without giving away too much about one of the applicants, are you able to share like which applicant or what it was they were talking about that really stood out to you?
I'm not going to do that because I don't know if I'll get in trouble with Intrepid. And we don't know. Like, I kind of gave them like, okay, here's my top like 10, right? Like, we've got to figure this out. But I can't do that. But what I will say is just, again, the letting go of the fear of specificity, letting go of the fear of being a niche and not saying, I think some people think that like, they'll give you that broad stroke blanket answer. And because it covers so much ground, they're like, oh, okay, good. Like, I think I got it. And it's like, actually, that didn't really tell me much about you. And literally you sound and said the same thing as like the 10 other videos that I just watched right before yours, right? And so it's one of those things where like, don't be scared of the specificity, even if it's simple. Like, we have some people who applied that it's like all the bells and whistles, you can tell that they're like full-time content creator. But one of them that stands out to me is somebody who like didn't have those bells and whistles. And I don't know if it's just because she's not there yet or she doesn't have access to it, but it was a simple video of her. She came across really well. The diversity of her work came across really well. And her tell on what she would do with the funds was so away from what everybody else said that I was like, wow, like this is actually kind of like cool. And she does not have the most curated or produced video that we got out of the bunch, you know? And so it's things like that, right?
Don't be afraid to start small, like you said. Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love that. And I love that more and more folks in your position, you know, who's able to give opportunity, who's able to take notice of talent that others may sort of dismiss. And I've heard this a few other festivals as well. It's like a lot of times the numbers don't matter. Your content doesn't have to be super polished. And I'm glad these conversations are happening and giving notice to the folks that are out there who may not be as polished, but, you know, have a story to tell or have a great product in the workings and may just need that $5,000 opportunity to help them get over that next hump. So it's great to hear folks like yourself really speaking to Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
And that's the whole point, right? Like, if you had everything you needed, you wouldn't be applying for this.
You want to be exactly. All right. So my last question. So last month, as you know, you were recognized as a leader and voice in the Black travel industry when you attended the Leadership Conclave in DC. And there was a few other folks out there that were familiar with Lawrence Phillips from Green Book Global, Stephanie Jones of Black in Tourism. It was really great to see that caliber of experts in the travel space who are just as passionate as yourself all come together and really talk about what does the future of Black tourism looks like. And then, as you know, in the question, you know, we quoted one of the writers from one of your sponsors, actually Travel Plus Leisure, who talked about the future of Black tourism is expansion. And so for me, I'm curious to know, what do you think about when you hear that quote, Black tourism, the future of Black tourism is expansion? And what does the future of Black tourism looks like to 𝗧𝗲𝗯?
Yeah, I think in response to the quote, expansion sounds like collaboration to me. And us trying to find now, it's like, I think in the beginning it was a little tough because we were all trying to find our footing. And it's like, well, I don't know if this person is like, and I've had people blatantly pull from me, but you know, I think you get like very just like protective, right? Like, you're building something, you're putting your all into it. It's your baby. So it is natural to be protective of it. And I think sometimes people push this like collaborate. And it's like, hold up, like that may not be where I am in this season. And I shouldn't be taken to task because of that, right? Like, there's a time and place for everything. And so in speaking to Nomadness, I think we're in a space where our brand identity is super clear. our stance in the industry is super clear. And so it's easier for us to take on this role now as collaborative, more so than it was in the past, you know, in past times. So I think for me, that's what I hear. That's what it registers for me when I hear the quote. Now, in regards to what I see as far as the future, for me, it's storytelling.
Oh, I think I lost you, Avita.
And for me, it's like there's such a need, a non-negotiable shit. What's the last thing you heard?
I think I lost you. The last thing I heard um, was the future of expansion sounds like collaboration, and I could tell you were sharing so many gems, and I got so pissed off.
Okay, I'll go back to it. It's fine. No,
okay.
no, it's okay. Okay, so collaboration, I said there's a season and a time for collaboration with each brand, right? You know, I've had people blatantly try to steal from Nomadness. And so in the beginning, there's this protective nature that I think is very natural. You know, I think it's a human condition. And I think that you have to, only you know when you're ready to collaborate. And so now, given the space that Nomadness is in, our brand identity is clear. It's much easier for us to take on a collaborative effort and stance when it comes to like helping to expand what Black and brown travel looks like, right? You still with me? I just want to make sure because I have my answer to what it means to me. Okay, cool. So what it means to me is storytelling. Storytelling has become ever more important to me because we have to own our own narratives. We cannot let other people, especially folks that are not from this movement, not from our demo, not from our community, try to tell stories for us because they'll fuck it up every time. And I think where we are in history, just even as a country, it is ever more important for us to be the ones to make sure that our stories are being documented, that they're being told accurately and authentically, and being told by the people that are actually living it. And so for me, my focus, not just as the founder of Nomadness, but also as a host and as a student of the world, Evita Robinson, for me, my next level and growth of Black and brown travel is going to be done through storytelling.
I absolutely, that for me ties into that sort of cultural component of travel, the storytelling piece, and I think you're just spot on in terms of no one is going to tell these stories in the way that they're supposed to be told because they're ours, and I love that, to see more of us again understanding the importance and the responsibility in that, and what these stories can mean and how they're supposed to be shared with the world. And so I'm looking forward to more stories coming up. Vita the traveler, business owner, but also in this community as well. Is that something you encourage your community to do, like own their story? Is that common conversation within the Nomadness community, storytelling?
I think because, I mean, we're talking about a community of 34,000 people, and most of these people are not content creators. We do have a lot of business owners. I mean, it's like almost 100% leisure travelers, and there's a percentage of folks that do it for business as well. But it's a common conversation for me when I'm around the subset of Nomadness members that are in content creation, influencer spaces, right? But generally, I think it's about exposing our community to these stories. You know, me spending 2 weeks in Alaska only interviewing Indigenous and Black Alaskans. And now that footage, as of this past week, that footage has become award-winning by PRSA. I just found out. And so it's like, it's about me like going into thank you. It's about me going into these spaces and telling these stories. And even like, you know, I talk about Black and brown, like, you know, there's an episode that I have that's going to be coming out in October, November about like the Chicano neighborhoods in San Diego, California, you know, so I'm going in as a Black woman into a culture that is not mine, although I can relate to their struggle. And I'm coming in and allowing them to tell their own story with me in the space of student. And now I can take the Chicano Park story of San Diego and drop it in a group, in a community of 34,000 Black folks who will be able to relate to it on their own levels, and to expand that conversation so that it really is a BIPOC conversation and we're coming together. I'm on some like rainbow coalition type shit. like that's where I'm at with it right now. I'm like, what do y'all need? How can we help? Like,
So, you know what's so dope about that? And I'm gonna wrap it up with this. What's so dope about that is I was in a car yesterday with my fiance, and we were driving for a day trip down to Austin, and we were listening to a podcast called Good Bad Billionaire. Basically, the concept of the
mm,
podcast is these hosts, they select a billionaire and they judge them. They'll review their entire career from rack to riches to billionaire, or sometimes from, you know, gotta put up to
interesting.
billionaire, whatever the case may be. And so on this episode, they talked about Rihanna, and they talked about her
Mm,
Fenty products, and they talked about how
yep.
typically in the cosmetic beauty industry space, brands will take the face of someone that's famous, put it on the product, and it sells because that person is famous, whatever the case may be. But with Rihanna, and it was different. It was that plus she identified a problem. I didn't realize that her Fenty product, particularly the skincare product, she didn't only create shades for women of darker skin, but also very, very light and pale skin as well. Like the entire spectrum of people that could benefit from
Yeah,
this
it was like
product.
40 something
You know?
shades that she released at once.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, for me, I was like, oh, damn, like it wasn't just about selling a product, it was about solving a problem that touched people at their core.
Yeah.
And it sounds the same thing with you is, yeah, we're BIPOC focused, black and brown focused, but how can we create experiences, services, or support that really spans the spectrum? And that's fine, right? We can be a black owned business or a black owned and brown owned business that creates something that touches or solves a problem for everybody. Does that sort of resonate with you?
Yeah. It does resonate with me. I think also, though, I think my focus is always going to be people of color.
Yeah,
I just think that that's just where it is. That's the story that I'm trying to tell and
certainly,
amplify.
certainly.
Yeah, it's like my community means so much to me. And especially when it comes to tourism, again, right? Success is also
Yeah.
about access. I have access that a lot of people don't have in the tourism industry. And so I'm able to sit down, actually get a call picked up by somebody at a tourism board and be like, hey, I'm looking at this whole marketing campaign that you have, and ain't nobody of color in this. Where's the disconnect, y'all? It's
Mm,
2023. And so when I come in and I pitch my services as a host and producer and writer to them for the content that I bring out, I also know where their blind spots are, and now they can come in with somebody who they've wanted to work with, like me, who also has this direct line to all of these people through Nomadness. And it's like, okay, this is something that may be worth it. And like I said, like now some of them are starting to get awards for this, and it's like, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Like the storytelling is where it's at, but you've got to get out of the way. You all are dealing with your community in like antiquated terms. And we
mm,
are way more diverse, way more progressive, have way more to say than you just picking these like, fair skinned people and showing a couple landmarks and thinking that that's like what's going to run your social media
that's gonna
feed
be
until
message. Yeah,
tomorrow. And it's like,
yeah.
yeah, like you're not resonating with anybody with this shit. You're just not.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. In one response, you've spoken to so many of the pain we've had with just starting conversations with certain destinations and trying to get them to understand. You just can't go a
Yeah.
black person and expect that to resonate. There's culture behind. Culture drives our decisions.
Yeah.
You have to be able to understand that
When are you
storytelling.
getting into Louisville?
I will. My colleague will be getting into Louisville on Thursday. She's actually already there, I believe, but she'll start connecting with everyone on Thursday.
Okay. Did
I
you guys get invited to the general
she did.
networking that we have on Thursday?
Yes, we'll be there. Hello.
Yeah, for Industry Day. I just wanted to make sure that somebody from your team was there.
No, I appreciate it. No, absolutely. Ann Williams reached out to us. She's been awesome. Her and Courtney, the social media team, have been awesome as well. And please do extend that to them. Make sure to reach out to them. But we had to make a slight personnel change. I'm actually headed to Spain, Madrid, in about an hour. And so I had to, one of my
Nice.
colleagues informed me.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you're not
so
at a cafe, you at the airport.
I'm at the airport. Yeah, that's when you were like, I'm at a cafe. I wanted to text like, girl, it's okay. I'm trying to find a quiet spot.
We both trying to figure this out.
But man, no, we're excited to be there. Man, just so many. It's just so really cool and inspiring to see. And so I know you got a million things to do. Before we hop off, is there any questions you have for me?
I don't, outside of just like where is this gonna go and when is it gonna go
Yeah.
there? And do
So
you have anything in particular that you need from us?
no, I think so. This is gonna go up within the next couple of days. I just want to do a couple of pre-festival social media clips. Hear the thoughts of Adida as we prepare for No Madness Fest. I think the answers you shared around what does the future of Black tourism looks like. I think we'll be posting some of those responses. I think it resonates with folks that we've been talking to lately through social media. So we'll post that on Instagram and make sure to tag you all in that over the next couple of days,
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
and then after the festival, we will author a review article. Our writer who's on deck, she has a whole list of things she'll be looking for. She has a set number of
Okay.
speakers she'll be targeting to get a few quotes from, things of that nature. And then we'll publish an article in October about the review of the festival itself. And yeah, we'll keep your team in a loop 100% of the way. Um, yeah, that's a wrap.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, just keep in contact with Courtney, keep in contact with
Yes, ma'am.
Deanne. If you need anything from me, let me know. Like at some point, people usually need photos and videos and shit, but also y'all are going to be there. So a lot of the stuff that you may
You will
need,
be
you're
there.
probably going to
Yeah,
capture while you're
yeah,
there. So
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yo, I appreciate it. I'm gonna try to get a quick snack before this flight because I don't trust American Airlines food on the plane. Uh,
Right, right. Safe travels.
right, yo, I appreciate it. Yo, good luck. Have a great festival. I know it'll be great. Thank you for taking the time. Check in with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.